Welcome to lesson C-6. Audio can add another level to a project, whether it's playing audio through the speaker of a Halloween decoration or playing your own recorded voice through a mobile robot. This lesson will teach you about the audio capabilities of the Raspberry Pi and how they can be used to add audio to your projects. In this video, we'll start our look at working with audio in with your Raspberry Pi and Python projects. And in particular, we'll walk through working with the PAM8302 amplifier in your Level C kit, including understanding amplifier gain and distortion. In the next two videos, we'll look at other audio hardware options as well as audio software. Back in Level B, you learned about using different pulse width modulated frequencies to create different sounds with a piezoelectric speaker. In addition to frequency, audio signals have another very important attribute called amplitude. Amplitude is the measurement of how large or how many volts tall an audio signal is, and this value determines how much work the signal can do in driving a speaker. A small speaker like a piezo should be driven by an audio signal with a very small amplitude, as the speaker element in the piezo is really tiny and it can't move very far. A larger speaker like the speaker in a car stereo needs a much larger amplitude signal to drive the speaker element and produce sound. The larger the speaker, the larger the drive signal needed for the speaker. The device used to increase the amplitude of a signal is called an amplifier. An amplifier takes the input of a small signal and outputs a much larger signal that is capable of driving larger speakers. And just to quickly point out, in about the middle of this picture here, there's a flat blue component attached to the breadboard, and that's the amplifier that's wired to the speaker. And both of those are included in your Level C kit. And as you can see in this picture, in your Level D kit, you'll get a chance to use both on the robot. The amount of amplification that is applied inside an amplifier is called gain. Too much gain in the amplifier and the output signal will overdrive the speaker, resulting in loud, distorted sound. Not enough gain in the amplifier will result in the speaker being underdriven, resulting in a very low or no sound coming out of the speaker. Some larger amplifiers have fixed gain levels that cannot be adjusted, but smaller amplifiers will often have adjustable gain that can be controlled by a potentiometer on the circuit board of the amplifier. And just a quick reminder from Level B, a potentiometer is a variable resistor. The photo here is the amplifier included in your kit. The highlighted potentiometer is used to adjust the gain, so it's right there in the red. Counterclockwise will lower the gain. Output level will be lower and more quiet. But if you adjust it clockwise, higher gain, output level will be higher and more loud. Full gain will likely be far too much though for small speakers and could damage them. In order to get the best sound quality, you might need to make adjustments to the input level using the volume control on your Pi and the output level using the gain adjustment on the amplifier. And these two settings will work together to get a good output level for your speaker. Distortion occurs when a drive signal is too large for a connected speaker and the resulting sound is said to be distorted because it's not a true representation of the intended sound. Usually when we think of distortion, we think of like a voice coming through a bullhorn, but it is also used as an effect for music featuring electric guitars. The level of distortion will vary with how badly the speaker is being overdriven. Slight distortion of a signal may only result in slightly degraded audio output, while heavier distortion might lead to an audio that's completely unusable, and the possibility even for damaging the speaker. The amplifier included in your kit is built around the PAM8302A chipset. It's capable of delivering 2.5 watts of power into a speaker. And let's go through real quick the full specifications for this one. The input power is between 2 volts and 5.5 volts. Compatible speakers are going to have a 4 to 8 ohm impedance. And if connecting your amplifier to a speaker other than the one supplied in your kit, you need to ensure the impedance rating is in the 4 to 8 ohm range. Speakers with ratings outside this range can actually damage the amplifier. Okay, so let's walk through the pinout for the amplifier, and there are 7 to go through, so we'll continue this one on the next screen, okay? So we'll do part of them here and part of them on the next screen. Okay, so first we have the positive audio input signal. The A negative is the negative audio signal if available, or ground. Okay, see those two there on the left, the first and second one. Let's go down to the third one. That's enable. That applies the ground switch amplifier into low power off mode, or you can leave it unconnected and the amplifier will always be on. And then we have VIN, V-I-N, which is the voltage in, and the range can be 2 volts to 5.5 volts. All right, so let me go to the next slide. Same thing, but here are the last three. We also have the ground connection, and then we have the speaker positive, which is the positive speaker connection, and then the speaker negative, which is the negative speaker connection. Okay, so the speaker connections here are made using bare speaker wire and the screw terminal connector, while the other signals can thankfully be accessed using the standard breadboard compatible header. Okay, before you move to the next video, let's take a few moments and review the concepts we've just discussed. Different size speakers require different levels of amplitude. An amplifier can take a small signal and make it much larger and appropriate for driving larger speakers. Amplifier gain is the amount of amplification, and some small amplifiers, like the one in your kit, can be adjusted using the potentiometer on the circuit board of the amplifier. Distortion occurs when the driver signal is too large for the connected speaker. Slight distortion just means the sound will sound poor, but heavy distortion can actually damage the speaker. Your kit includes a PAM 8302 amplifier with input power from 2 volts to 5.5 volts. When attaching it to a speaker, you'll want to be sure the speaker's impedance range is between 4 and 8 ohms. Okay, go ahead and move on to the next video for this lesson, where we'll look at audio output hardware and audio input hardware.